So today we're going to be changing over these hinges, Fethers Bestko. You can see that the soft close is not working. The gate's very stiff as well. And also isn't shutting from any position. That should be self-closing. So we're going to be changing them to Polaris hinges. Polaris makes a replacement for that type of hinge, Fethers Bestko. It's called the 130 series. The first thing you're going to want to do is to pack under the glass on both sides. That way when we loosen these, the panel won't drop and hit the ground, it's supported. Undo the bottom and then the top. Take the plate off. Just make sure the gate doesn't fall off completely after you undo them. I'm going to lean the top out and then carry it and just put the gate somewhere else for now so it's out of the way. We've got the gate leaning now, supported underneath. We've got foam to protect the edges. And just make sure you put a good lean on it as well, because if the wind picks up, it can often push the gate over. And we don't want that. So now just the same thing, we're going to remove these off the other side. We'll be back in a sec. You can see that these are completely rusted out as well. No good. See, this wasn't packed very well. The glass is actually chipped there, but it's not broken, so it should be okay. I'm just going to go clean this up a bit now. Right off of there. Okay, so we've cleaned it up. We've put the hinge in, we've put the anti-seize grease in that Polaris gives you with every set of hinges. And then we've put a packer underneath and also beside in the corner, just to stop the hinge from dropping when weight is applied to it. It'll stop your gate from sagging as well. It explains all of this in the instructions on how to do it, so make sure you read them properly. Okay, so this side is on. We've done these screws up to a medium strength. And we've also put the grease on the underside of the screw's head. This is just to ensure that it doesn't get stuck when you're doing it up. Stainless steel has a tendency to bind, so just twist it back and forth and get a medium sort of strength on it. Okay, so the gate's back on. We basically just lifted the glass back onto the blocks that we had, pushed it back onto the hinges, packed it as per the instructions, used the timber brace to hold it while we were working on it so that it doesn't fall over, and then we went back and just completely tightened all of the screws one at a time. And you probably want to go over them twice as well because the rubber will compress slightly. One thing you also want to check is that the panel either side is level. Because obviously if they're not level and also level with each other, then you'll have some dramas trying to get the gate to work. So just works out a lot easier if you get those level first. And you have to make sure that there's no gaps of 10 millimeters or greater, because that will be non-compliant. Now, if you don't pack the gate properly, this is what will happen. This was done by another installer. You'll see that the glass has dropped, and so the latch will become out of alignment. It'll just look bad in general. So always make sure you pack it properly, and so you spend the time doing that, because you'll save yourself a bit of a headache. So these are the strength adjustments that you can make in terms of how strong the hinge will pull in and close. So if you're in an area with high wind, you probably want to have it set at a high strength. So 6 will be the strongest, 1 being the least strength. And you want to adjust these top and bottom as well. This little foothold remover can be taken off. You'll have the same adjustment options as with the top hinge. So make sure that these are within 1 setting of each other. So if you have this one on 6, make sure this one is no less than 5. They have to be within 1 setting of each other. And also make sure that this foothold is on the bottom hinge. That's a compliance requirement, because any gaps or any areas where you have 10 millimeters or more, like with this section, sticks out 10 millimeters, you have to have a 60-degree angle on it so that it's considered non-climbable. Now this top one isn't an issue, but it is an issue for the bottom hinge. So that's why they give you this little foothold fixer. That comes already on the hinge as well. So don't remove that. Make sure you put it back on if you adjust the hinge speed. And the last test you want to do is just make sure that the gate is working, closing from any position. The gate must be self-closing and it must open outwards away from the pool. And that's how you swap your Fethers hinges over. One thing also to remember is that on the Bestko hinges, the screws were on the outside. With the Polaris, they'll be on the inside. So make sure you put the hinge on the correct way. The gate must open outwards. It has to open outwards and self-close to be compliant. And that's about it. I've tested the gate, it's working. It's self-closing, it's opening out away from the pool. All that's left to do is get your warranty card. These are the information pamphlets that show you how to pack it and how to install it. Pretty simple, you just follow those instructions, and then also the warranty and care guide. Just fill that in, and post it off to Polaris there. Okay, that address has actually changed as well. They're now in Gosford, so just look up that address online and post it to the correct address there. And this is the cutout size for the glass if you need to order a new glass panel. So all that's included in the pack. And feel free to leave a comment or shoot me a message on our website if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to help.